of the day.
All right, welcome back. Rich Bucher's back with us. Let's talk some hoops. What you got, homeboy?
Yes, sir. Let's move to Marcellus' Clippers. We're about to add another piece to the roster. With point guard Reggie Jackson agreeing to a buyout with the Pistons and planning to join LA's second favorite team. Jackson could have signed anywhere, but chose to team up with Kawhi, Paul George, and the Clippers team with his eye on a title run. Wanted to ask you guys, do you think this is proof players believe the Clippers are winning the title this year? Come on, big dog.
You already know what I'm going to say. What DJ Khaled say? Another one. Look, we keep getting these players. The depth that we have, the racks on racks on racks that we're going to throw out in the playoffs on every team we play, including the Lakers if they want some, is going to be insurmountable. Look, here's the thing. We know this is true. Players talk on a different channel than the media. The players are saying, and they're talking through their actions, we know where the chip's going. We know what the favorites look like, and that's the Clippers. Then also the team composition. Let's be respectful of the Lakers, but LeBron and then AD, players are like, is there room to breathe or even room to ball? We saw what happened with Kuzma this year. We saw what happened before with Bosh of yesteryear. Players are factoring that into the equation on and off the court. Last but not least, what gets lost in a lot of this recruiting is the fact that it's not so much player to player, it's representation to representation. You go upstairs and have a meeting with Mr. Ballmer and Jerry West, and didn't have that same meeting with Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss. Case dismissed. Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, it's not only proof that the Clippers are the team that the NBA players think is going to win the title, but it's also the belief that if they win a title, they're going to get credit for winning that title. As you noted, with the Lakers, and I've had any number of players say this, LeBron sucks all the oxygen out of the room. It's not that they don't like him. It's just, if you lose, it's your fault.
Yeah.
If you win, it's to LeBron's credit. And at this point, Reggie looks at this team with Pat Beverly as the starting point guard and says, not only am I going to get some shine and be able to play and contribute to this, I might even get some crunch time numbers, because the reality is the Lakers could use a player like Reggie Jackson. They desperately need a player, another player who can go get his own shot and is fully willing to take that shot with the game on the line. That's Reggie. But the fact that he's taking the Clippers is because he thinks players don't look at the stats. They don't look at the standings. They don't look at analytics. They look at, oh, man, I don't want to play against that guy. I don't want to play against those guys.
Yeah, that's
I want to run with these guys.
That's the squad.
I'm a little surprised here, and I don't want to be too critical of the Lakers because I don't know if they pursued Reggie Jackson. Maybe they did. How hard they went after him, I don't know. But I am a little surprised at their inability, coming off the Kobe tragedy and that narrative of the Lakers. Right now, they're the favorites to win the title. I would want to be a part of that narrative of winning the title with the Lakers, honoring Kobe Bryant's legacy. I'm a little surprised that if Reggie Jackson had the opportunity to go to the Lakers and he chose the Clippers over them, that's because, one, I don't think he's going to get very many minutes. I really don't. I'm a little surprised here.
Well, offensively, you got to respect Reggie Jackson as being a compliment to Pat Beverly. So I see him getting his opportunity, especially with the injuries Pat Beverly's had this year. But I think the greater conversation is the lack of ability to close in recruiting for the Lakers, and it's been a problem of late. We can't even count LeBron, because LeBron's like, I didn't even come for the Lakers. I didn't come for basketball reasons. I came for reasons outside. Oh, you happen to be the Lakers in Los Angeles. We saw Kawhi. We saw PG. You see it now with Marcus Morris, and now you're looking at Reggie Jackson. It's just a long list of guys who choose Clippers over Lakers.
And you make a fair point, because the Lakers' chemistry right now is as good as I've seen of any team in the league right now. And so their urgency to go get a guy like Reggie, who is a little bit of a live wire, how that would play in that locker room. Everybody feels good about where they are. They're only going to add something if they feel like, for sure, it's not going to kick us sideways, and it's something that we desperately need.
All right, listen. This is a football show. We're a football network. We love boxing. It's time to talk some football. If the Cowboys don't want to pay Dak Prescott, we got a perfect solution for and TJ Houshmandzadeh. Time now for the most fearless discussion of the day. All right, let's move to the NFL, where Fox Bet has the Detroit Lions and the Miami Dolphins as the top two teams to draft Alabama quarterback Tua Tagovailoa in April. Longtime draft guru Mel Kiper Jr. also predicts the Lions will take Tua at number 3. I find this fascinating considering the Lions have a franchise quarterback in Matt Stafford. No way, if I'm the Lions, am I ready to give up on Stafford, especially after watching Patrick Mahomes lead the Chiefs to the Super Bowl. In terms of arm talent, Stafford is the second best to Mahomes. If I'm the Lions, I'm doing everything in my power to provide Stafford the same kind of speedy weapons that have allowed Mahomes to become the best quarterback in football. If the Lions are dumb enough to move on from Stafford and possibly trade him, I know one team that should go all in to get Stafford. The Dallas Cowboys. Stafford grew up in Dallas and played high school football there. He's just 32 years old. He's an upgrade over Dak Prescott. Through 11 seasons, Stafford has already earned $210 million. I bring that up because Dallas could pay Stafford less money over the next 3 to 5 years than what it will cost to retain Prescott. This is a no-brainer. The Cowboys would be better off acquiring Stafford than overpaying for Dak. All right, Marcellus. Would the Cowboys be better off acquiring Stafford than overpaying Dak?
No, not at all. No. Appreciate y'all. Big Blue up in here. I'm gonna get good with these Cowboy fans again, despite my poor performance as the Cowboys. Can we start here? 32 years old in Matthew Stafford and 26 years young in Dak Prescott. Go Dak. Can we talk about last year? Matthew Stafford didn't finish the season and Dak has never missed a game in NFL. Go Dak. Can we talk about Dak having a career year despite the changes at offensive coordinator and looking forward to now working with the quarterback whisperer in Mike McCarthy? Go Dak. And now, I will admit this. In the NFL right now, including Patrick Mahomes, no one has the missile launcher that Matthew Stafford has. That said, his lack of winning and Dak being the second most winningest quarterback since he's been in the league gives all advantages to Dak despite there being a talent gap slightly to Matthew Stafford.
Oh, the talent gap isn't slight. It's large. It's large. I've seen them both on the field the last 2 summers.
Yeah.
It's large. Now, if I'm the Cowboys and I can get Matthew Stafford, I go get him. He's that good. He's been that guy since he came out of high school.
Yeah, that's real.
Been that guy coming out of Georgia college. And in the next 3 years, he's only owed $51 million. You're going to get that to Dak in a year and a half. The only problem is, what will the Cowboys have to give up to get him? That would be the only problem. As far as talent, it's a no. Matthew Stafford is one of the top 2 or 3 talented quarterbacks, not just on talent, period.
Yeah, I'm staying consistent with you, T. I look at it from the financials of it. You are getting a player, even if you want to compare the two and say, okay, in skill, if you don't want to make them this far apart, this guy is comparable to that guy, you're still getting back to the numbers of it, right? The whole reason why we're having this discussion is because of the number that Dak and his team is looking for. So if you can make it make sense, even with trade bait, right? Even if you got to get rid of someone, if you got to pay 20, 29, 30, 31 versus
Dude, his salary is $8 million next year. $8 million.
So
that's his salary.
You're almost playing with house. Like, man, if I can get Matthew Stafford, who can some people think he's better than Dak in an upgrade, and I can get him for that price, I can build my team, I can make a trade, and we're right where we need to be. So it's sensible from that perspective, but I don't think it's sensible if it's not based upon the salary.
Matt Stafford playing with an Ezekiel Elliott, an Amari Cooper, maybe another wide receiver, maybe a tight end. He's never had the right pieces around him, in my view.
Megatron.
Never had a running back.
Megatron.
Never had one piece.
Okay.
Dallas has a team, an offensive line, a running back.
Yeah,
to me, never had a great play caller, offensive coach to work with. I think you put Matt Stafford in a better situation. If Matt Stafford was with Andy Reid at some point in his career, it would be a wrap. We would be talking about Matt Stafford as a great quarterback. And again, this really comes down to, if Dak were reasonable about what he wanted to get paid, I would never make this argument.
I'm going to tell you what
but paying Dak $35 million, hell, you might be better off with Phillip Rivers.
I'm going to tell you what makes this go or doesn't go, right? With any of these, we can say Matthew Stafford, we can say Teddy Bridgewater. What makes this go is the relationship aspect of this. What is Dak Prescott's respect factor? What's his level? What's his rating in that Dallas Cowboys locker room? What would that be in comparison to bringing in a Matthew Stafford? Would he be able to come in and settle into that environment and it not be a divisive deal, something that tears them apart?
He's been the guy for too long for that to be divisive. He's been the guy since he's come into the league. That won't be the Lions would be crazy, number one, to trade him, because that means you drafting a rookie, coach and GM going to be fired anyway. They're not going to do it.
TJ, we got to stop being two-dimensional up here. We all went through the process, combines, being on the field. Let's stop having a talent-based conversation, because that's just the potential of your ability. You know, the potential. What's the kinetic ability? You actually taking that potential and making it happen.
He's done that.
Matthew Stafford is a losing quarterback.
So is Dak.
By record. No, not
argument.
Dak.
That's no argument.
No, he's a losing record by record, right?
Yes.
And then you bring him into a
Detroit.
situation. But let's not. The immeasurables, the intangibles, where Dak is off the charts in those things you can't measure. Where is Matthew Stafford? Realistically,
No, I agree with you.
He played hurt a lot of his
He
career.
played in 139
How about don't get hurt? How about don't get hurt?
139
He played
straight
in
games. Let's see
139
Dak
straight
after
games.
11 seasons.
Now, when you play in Detroit and you play in Dallas, two different organizations.
Oh, I get you.
Functional and dysfunctional.
Yes.
That plays a part.
Which one's functional? I thought the Cowboys were dysfunctional.
They're more functional.
I'm about to say.
They're not
It's a lot
as,
more
they're not
functional than
as
Detroit.
dysfunctional. Yeah, I agree with that.
I just got to respect the immeasurables. Too many times we get caught up in big, fast, strong, and we lose the fact that maybe there's something up here we haven't measured in Dak that needs to be respected, and I'm giving him credit.
He went 8-8 last year. Those immeasurable deals. They
Measured out
in the
8
worst-
wins.
In the worst division in football, they should make the playoffs.
Worst division.
Team MVP, so that's on them. That's
Worst division.
That's on his teammates.
Coming up, Russell
kicked the
Wilson wants
cans
the
down.
Seahawks offense to look like the Chiefs, and they just added a piece that may help them get there. That story, Doc, speak for yourself, is coming.